I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way, but working on a blaster for a while and painting it and doing all the touch-ups and then clear coating it and just going through the entire process makes me want to sleep. Mod a Rapidstrike. In the car modding and the car tuning world, a car that looks like it's just your regular ordinary car but has high-tuned, high-performance internals, parts on the inside and under the hood is called a sleeper. And that is what this Rapidstrike is, a sleeper. Now there are some things that kind of make it stand out and definitely don't make it look like a stock Rapidstrike. For example, the 180 front motor cover, the extended clip release, and the 180 back pusher cover. But from a lot of different angles, this thing looks like a stock Rapidstrike, and I even tried to get the blue for the pieces to match. This is the closest I could get. And while the title of this video says Basic Rapidstrike, there is still a bunch we can talk about with it. If you're smart or you're just paying attention to what I was saying, there are 3 180s in this Rapidstrike. I call Rapidstrikes with 3 180s in them a tri-bladed Rapidstrike because that's what they are, and it sounds really cool, like, oh, tri-bladed Rapidstrike. Doesn't that make you just want to like go out and get one or something? But 3 180s definitely push a Rapidstrike into a level of its own. They have great power behind them, and they have some really, really good wind-up response, but sadly they are going away, so this is going to be like one of my last projects featuring them. And you know, if I'm gonna make something into a sleeper modded whatever, I'm gonna want to put 180s into it because I just love them, and great bang for your budget in terms of motors. Besides the 180s and the covers for them, there is a 3D printed extended mag release. I love these things. The stock mag releases are just fine, but there's something really, really nice and super satisfying about being able to easily reach them with your middle finger and pull the mag out, or just grabbing it like this. These are starting to become a standard on like every flywheel blaster that I can possibly put them in because they are just so nice. So definitely expect to see a lot of these in the future for my flywheel builds because I don't know why you wouldn't put them in there. They're just such a nice alternative, and they make reloading so much easier, and you can paint them to match your build very easily and much more easily than you can with a stock one, from what I've found at least. Before I go any further with this Rapidstrike, I want to give a huge thanks to Ryan of Make Test Battle. He helped me with the wiring for this before his channel released the Rapidstrike wiring guide, so thank you very much for being super nice and super helpful. And if you want to know how to wire up your own Rapidstrike without asking on Reddit or asking on Nerf Modders Welcome, their video is super duper excellent, as well as their Demolisher video. Some great mod guide videos. All the wire in this Rapidstrike is 18 gauge silicone wiring with an XT60 LiPo connector in the front and Cherry DC2 switches for both the triggers, the ones that give the super duper satisfying sound. So if I'm using Cherry switches and 18 gauge silicone wiring, why is this called a basic Rapidstrike? I got the name because this is the most basic I am willing to go with the Rapidstrike. I feel that leaving stock wires and stock switches in a blaster just isn't going to be good enough in the long term, especially if you're using something like a LiPo. So the setup that I have in here based upon Make Test Battle's Rapidstrike video is the most basic I am willing to go with it. And because the way this Rapidstrike is wired up is very basic, it's very simple, and it only involves 2 switches. The only drawback to it being so basic is that the pusher arm doesn't retract all the way since you're using 2 switches instead of 3 of them. The third one being where the pusher arm is, and it cycles a switch that tells it to retract after every trigger pull. So while the arm does not retract and it stays where it is after you're done holding down the trigger, this does not affect its performance. So you might be wondering, how does a basic Rapidstrike perform? Off a 2S LiPo, very nicely. And that is really all there is to the sleeper Rapidstrike. It's just a stock looking Rapidstrike with some overhauled internals that's performing like an overhauled Rapidstrike really should. 100 plus FPS and shoot like a beast because of the 180 motors. I think it's kind of funny when you have a stock looking blaster that just destroys the competition and you know, blasters that are like it. And that's really what I was going for with this build, is something that looks a little bit like it's stock but performs very nicely like something that is overhauled. So that is it. Sleepers are just fun to do in between big projects when you don't want to go through the hassle of painting or detailing or anything like that. It is for sale in my store if you're interested in purchasing it. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day wherever you are.